All right, so this property walkthrough is a little bit more interesting because this is actually been given to us just to rent out the property. We don't actually manage any of the other units in here, and I believe the owner is doing a lot of short-term rentals. What is the curb appeal of the property when somebody drives by? You can pan over there and you can see nicely cut grass. Here, this is not tidy, so if you're coming here and now you drive up to the property, what is the first impression? Again, the emotional response. What do I have here? Broken window. It's on the outside. I know it's double pane glass, but again, what we're talking about here is first impressions. So this sign here, zero tolerance for human trafficking. Our property is a safe haven. I guess that's okay, but to me, that says to somebody is, oh, do we have a problem in the neighborhood anyways? Why do we need this sign? I would lose this sign. To me, that actually creates more worry and anxiety about the neighborhood when really the neighborhood's not that bad. All right, so this property walkthrough is a little bit more interesting because this is actually been given to us just to rent out the property. We don't actually manage any of the other units in here, and I believe the owner is doing a lot of short-term rentals. So first impressions that I have, and this is something that I want you guys to really think about here, is what is the curb appeal of the property when somebody drives by? You can pan over there and you can see nicely cut grass. Obviously here, it's not, there's a lot of weeds, so this is not tidy. So if you're coming here and you see one of our ads and now you drive up to the property, what is the first impression? Again, the emotional response. When we look at the property itself, you've got some stucco that's peeling, flaking off. You've got some paint peeling there. Nice windows, right? So everything looks okay. I don't know about that cable that's lying there. Again, everything, all the little things really make a difference. I was able to come here a little bit earlier. Let's take a look in the backyard. I'm gonna show you also, because you have to remember a prospect's gonna be coming in here and they are gonna be looking at the property the same way, like you have, as a landlord, have to look at the property the same way that a tenant would. So let's go take a look at the backyard. All right, so we have a lot of overgrowth here, although this is, in the time of year, this is probably only the last few weeks. But when you come back into the yard, we see some cement pads. I'm standing on some gravel, more weeds. I see an old couch. I'm sure that's not here for backyard barbecues. I see over here, it probably looks like part of a crib or something like that, right? Some other garbage here. So the yard just looks disheveled, okay? So that's the first impression. Then we have to go to the actual unit itself. Again, so let's, I've got some other tips and tricks for you guys. All right, so I actually just tripped on this. This is interesting here too. So that's, again, just, it shows a lack of maintenance, right? You can see here that this board, now we don't manage the whole building, but if I'm the owner, this is starting to fall apart, right? Like you can see all of these things. And again, it's a safety issue for the other 3 tenants that are in here. So I'm gonna try not to trip on this and go upstairs. All right, so we've got kind of a common hallway here. On this side, we have, I guess, what would be called a shared washer and dryer. Christmas trees. So it just shows a little bit of, again, you can kind of see the whole feeling of the building, right? So that's the first impression. And if that's all the landlord can do because of cost, because of area, although I will say this is not a C-class property in a C-class area, but it certainly starts to look like that. Okay, so let's go into the unit here. Okay, so this is actually pretty interesting. What we have here is a furnished 1-bedroom unit. Now, let me talk for a little bit about furnished units. Furnished units are good for things like Airbnb, short-term rentals. For a long-term furnished, you have to think of your last 5 or 10 friends that you helped move. Did they not have furniture? Most people have furniture. So when you think, this is what I always say to my clients. They always come to me and say, well, I want to rent it furnished. Now, this investor probably wants it furnished for long-term because you can't rent it out as short-term rental anymore. That's what I'm guessing anyways. But if you have a furnished rental versus a non-furnished rental, yes, a furnished rental is going to be able to give more rent, but the non-furnished rental is appealing to more people. So if, let's say you have a 3-bedroom unit, furnished versus non-furnished, let's say that for furnished, you can get a 3-bedroom in this market for $3,000 versus $2,500 for the non-furnished. Non-furnished, you're attracting a family. The furnished, you might be getting an executive who's coming in, maybe they're with their family, they're gonna rent for 4 months, and then they're gonna buy a home. That's typically what you see in that market. For a 1-bedroom here, what type of demographic of tenant is going to rent a furnished 1-bedroom? Well, somebody who is here for work, so again, it's more short-term. Could be somebody newly separated from their partner, so they're starting over. But again, is that really what you want? What I would say for this is maybe take another $100, $200 less off the rent and get, like, it's a decent 1-bedroom in a good neighborhood on top, on the top floor with laundry. You might be able to get a working professional here. I mean, you see that there's a nice island. It's pretty spacious in here. Okay, there's some breakfast bar stools here. You could get a working professional that's gonna stay here for 1, 2, 3 years. Now, I'm in the St. Boniface neighborhood in Winnipeg, which is literally a 5-minute drive, maybe a 20-minute walk, maybe less, from the St. Boniface General Hospital, which is a teaching hospital. Lots of nurses, doctors, orderlies, unit assistants, even med students might rent something like this for years. But again, are they going to be wanting furnished? So maybe it's a med student that's coming from out of town. Maybe it's okay. So that is sort of my one piece of advice. Now we're just starting to rent this unit out, so we really won't know. So that's kind of one of the things is kind of wait and see. One of the other strategies that I might use is advertise it with both options. So if this is a 1-bedroom at $1,500 furnished, then you put in the ad copy or option to be unfurnished for $1,350. Now you're able to actually look and, I guess, capture both audiences, okay? But the purpose of these property walkthroughs is really for me to tell you what I would fix, okay? I gave you a little bit of bonus. So first impressions, what do I have here? Broken window. Now it's on the outside. I know it's double pane glass, but again, what we're talking about here is first impressions, okay? I mean, I know this is furnished, but I mean, this type of furniture is not the best. Now, when we look at, I guess I'm in what you call the living room, the paint is okay. The ceiling's okay, right? We have here, I guess this is laminate flooring, I think it's laminate flooring, engineered hardwood. It's in good shape, so I don't think you need to do anything there. We move around to the island. I'm looking, I don't see any gouges or nicks on the counter, so that's also good. So I wouldn't really have to do anything there, okay? The kitchen itself looks okay. Got an element here that's kind of bouncing up. Oh. So that's gonna have to be fixed, right? Because it's not really great. First thing that people are gonna do when they're here, they're gonna look at the oven. It's a little dirty, but not too bad. Second thing they're gonna do is look at the fridge. Now, first thing that I see here, and I don't know for those of you who are in the kitchen, you talk about your triangle. Well, to me, unless you go to the fridge on your way to the bedroom, to me, this hinge is on the wrong side. To me, I'm here and I'm unloading stuff from the fridge onto the counter. Well, I can't do that. I want to pull something from the freezer. I have to do this. Super inconvenient to have to do this, pull out something, close it, put it there. So these, normally you can convert these over, and I can see here that there's 2 places on here that you could switch the hinges. So that's a quick swap, a YouTube video. Or when you're ordering these things, kind of just think ahead, which way do I want my hinges to swing? Now, just looking again, fully furnished. So that's part of the problem, I guess, in that when you're talking about fully furnished and you're doing a condition report, on your condition report for a long-term furnished rental, you're gonna have to count 4 plates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 saucers, 6 bowls, right? And you're gonna have to hold the tenant responsible for that on your condition report. So it's just an added level of complexity with furnished rentals, okay? All right, so I don't see anything wrong in here. I probably wouldn't paint at all. Oh, I see something here. Again, a little bit of, this is just, I would just say small details, right? There's 2 screws missing from here. Like, put them back in, right? A little bit of peeling paint there. Okay, maybe you leave it there, maybe not, but at least take a rag and wipe off the gunk off of the plate there, right? Other than that, it looks okay. We've got this this sign here, 0 tolerance for human trafficking. Our property is a safe haven. I guess that's okay, but to me, that says to somebody is, oh, do we have a problem in the neighborhood anyways? Why do we need this sign? It's put up with Scotch tape, right? If it were me, I would just I would lose this sign. To me, that actually creates more worry and anxiety about the neighborhood when really the neighborhood's not that bad, okay? All right, so let's move around to the bedrooms and the bathroom that we have in this hallway. So we've got, oh, I see something else here. We always see this, the smoke detectors on the fridge. So where was it supposed to be? It's supposed to be in the bedroom. Now, I don't know if this was taken down by somebody else. It has a sticker on it, 2024. Who knows? But anyways, it's a safe piece of safety equipment that has to be installed. All right, let's go into the first room here, the bathroom. So we've got some kind of thing on the floor here. So again, first impressions. Now, I'm not saying that every unit that you walk into that you own has to be completely brand new renovated. But you have to be thinking like a tenant. When you walk in, what do you need to fix? What is going to give you the best value? What is going to guarantee to rent out that property very quickly? So we look at the shower, and if we close in on this, you see that this shelf, I'll step in here a little bit, is cracked, basically destroyed, and somebody has used caulking and paint to try to put it together, okay? Really, really lousy caulking job on here. I don't know if I'm living here that I want to put my bare butt in this bathtub, I'm just saying. Other than that, the paint's not bad, but let's talk about cleaning. I mean, when you look at the sink, it's pretty dirty, right? Now, again, you could say, wow, I'm going to be cleaning it, Garrett, before the tenant moves in. Yes, but if you're going to clean it later, why not get it cleaned now and have a really good first impression, right? I'm thinking like a tenant, so I haven't been here before. Literally, I open this up, I see Irish Spring, some kind of hair treatment product, and Glade. And on this side, I don't even know what I'm going to find, nothing, okay? You have to remember, when you're looking at places, you're opening up the fridge, you're opening up cupboards, you see that, and you're just kind of like, you, right? Oh, so we have these towels. Now, I have to remember that this is a furnished rental, so these towels were probably here, but they look used. So again, to me, you've got a bath mat, towels. If you're going to be showcasing a furnished rental, it has to look like a short-term rental. It has to look like an STR. And again, there's 2 different types. Here's a loose handle here. There's some paint around here. I know it seems like I'm being maybe unnecessarily harsh when I'm going through these things, but you always, if you want value, like I read something somewhere in a book that it's a very foolish person that sells a car without washing it first, right? Well, that's no different here. If you're already going to be showcasing this stuff, we'll put nice towels here. You know, this would be piled on top of this. It would be obviously that it's clean. Now, the other thing that I will say about furnished rentals is you can have what's called hard furnishings and soft furnishings. So let's go into the bedroom here. Now, hard furnishings is what I would call the bed itself. Soft furnishings would be linens, towels, like we just saw in the bathroom, right? And there's a difference because this is kind of set up like an STR, although kind of a low-level STR in my mind. Like, I don't know that I'm renting this. Look here, right? Got a broken blind. Again, it's not that big of a deal, but unless you're running this like a C-class property, you know, Section 8, whatever wherever you're located, I don't think that this shows very, very well. I've got some dirty windows here. So getting back to hard furnishings versus, so you've got a TV table here, probably at a yard sale, and an unmatched TV table over there versus nightstands. right? To me, this almost, and this, I don't even know if this was slept in or not, right? So to me, it's a nice hard mattress, so that's fine. So hard furnishings would be the beds, the couch, the table, things like that. These so-called nightstands, I'd definitely go to IKEA and spend 50 bucks a piece on nightstands. I mean, we're not talking big dollars here, and get, if it's going to be furnished. My opinion, after walking through this, there's not that much furniture and it's kind of a hodgepodge. I would probably get rid of all of this and advertise it as just a really good one bedroom, good size. This is a decent sized bedroom. And then offer it unfurnished, right? Because I think the furnishings are kind of, I mean, this doesn't even look like real staging, right? So hard furnishings, soft furnishings are what we call textiles, right? So the sheets, the pillows, the blankets, you'd have to provide, again, plates, forks, cutlery, all of that stuff to me is unnecessary. So that's fully furnished, hard furnished, and unfurnished. Those are the three levels that I would be talking about, okay? What else can I tell you for bonus content here? I've got a closet here. Okay, now I see here, other than this needing to be refinished, but it's an older property, we can kind of get that. Like, it's good enough, I think, to rent. You're just not going to command top dollar. What we have here looks like a portable air conditioning unit, which is great. So we can put that into the ad copy because this is a bedroom. But the only reason I'm pointing this out is, do you have this on the lease? Because this is going to walk, right? When somebody's lived here for 2 years and their movers are moving everything out, how much confidence do you have that this $1,000 unit, this air conditioner, is not going to accidentally go into the moving truck and now it's gone? And if you're the landlord here and this is your property and you can't remember, maybe you have 4 or 5 other properties, then you're going to be like, what happened to that air conditioner that I used to have at that unit upstairs? And then you go back and you weren't organized enough. So definitely this has to be in a database field somewhere that automatically goes onto your lease and condition report. And then this goes onto the condition report. So number 1 on the lease, other equipment includes portable air conditioning unit. On the condition report, tested air conditioning, and it was actually in the unit. And then now when you have your move in and you have that line item for the portable air conditioning unit, now you have the line item for the air conditioning unit that is still there when they move out. And then you can remove that from their security deposit, damage deposit, whatever it is, okay? So I think I've given you guys a lot of really good insights here. I think the lesson here and my property walkthrough evaluation is, it's not bad. I think the investor has to put a lot more care into the outside of the unit, the grounds, everything. Because once you get up here, I think it shows well enough. So number 1, they have to make sure that the outside is taken care of. Number 2, they have some key decisions here with this hodgepodge of so-called furnishings to decide whether they want to get rid of everything and just call it an unfurnished rental or call it furnished, okay? Thanks for watching.